so this is a fresh one. Okay, so with this guy cheating you out of $60,000 and you're not unable to fight him and whatnot, that was only one thing that was coming apart.
Oh, yeah.
So what were some of the other pressures in your life and the things that were happening?
Well, your mother at the time was working for Security National Life Insurance. And she was an executive secretary to the president and to the head actuary. She did a good job. They really liked her. And she worked a lot of hours. And I was focused on trying to get exterior builders going at that point. I just lost, at that period of time, I had quit Firestone. I was working with Jim Ashpool, which never really paid me anything, but it ate up all my time. And trying to get that ready. And what was saving us was Beth was working at Security National. And they liked her, and they were paying her fairly well for what she was doing. And
she also went to LDS Business College, right?
Yes.
And I don't know if she ever came away with her degree, but
no,
she knew shorthand and she could type.
Oh, yeah, she had some real skills.
Yeah.
And so she was doing okay, and she started having to work late, do this, do that. We had 2 kids at that time, and the kids were getting shuffled between babysitters, and we had the 2 teenage girls across the street, Marilyn and both Margaret and Marilyn.
Where's home at this point?
Oh, we bought the house.
So this is Granger.
Yeah.
So Granger, before West Valley City was incorporated, Granger was an unincorporated part of Salt Lake County.
Yes.
And I have memories of that house. So
yeah. We had that house when we were working for Firestone.
Okay.
Was when we bought that house.
So you're living in Granger.
Yep.
You're putting in crazy hours. She's working more and more, and the babysitters are watching us.
Yep. And one particular night, she was supposed to have picked you and Kristen up from this babysitter, but I finally got to it, and I picked you up, and I was really unhappy because it messed up what I was trying to accomplish, because your mother had let me down. She wasn't there. And Kristen, trying to console me because I'm upset, she says, "Don't worry, Daddy. Mama doesn't love us anymore, but she'll come home." So when she finally rolled in about 11:30.
So here's your not much more than a toddler, right?
Yeah.
So Kristen's 3,
Yeah.
going on 4?
Yep.
She says that to you?
Yep. Anyway, so when she comes home, I said, we got to get better handlers. We can't just assume the other person is going to be there to take care of these kids. We got to focus on these kids, and we got a pretty good knockdown drag out. And your mother
lowers the bomb on you?
Kind of.
So did you have your suspicions, or was this completely out of the blue?
I never, ever thought that she cheated on me until she told me she did. And
so who was the culprit?
guy with Security National Bank Security National Life Insurance. He was a pilot. He was married to the president of the company's daughter. They're still there. In fact, his wife now is the CEO. But and he wasn't. And then later it even came out that there was more than just Gary. There was also Les Cannon. Les Cannon was a guy who managed a gas station, one of my dealers. But he was the guy that came and pushed the snow out of our driveway. He was a friend. But at the time that he and your mother were involved, his wife was extremely pregnant. In fact, one of the nights that your mother and Les were together, she told me, was the night that the baby was born. Mother was in the hospital, and after seeing Mother in the hospital and the babies, Les went and partied with your mom.
So there was somebody at the First Security National or whatever it was called.
Yep.
And there was this Les guy.
Yep.
That she had relationships with.
Yep.
And I don't know if it was just her. This is what Mom told me, is that she never slept with anybody, but it was tough to make you believe that, is kind of the way she said that. And then another time, I was talking to her about a book I read on relationships and by Joyce Brothers.
Yeah.
We're familiar with that name?
Yeah, I know her.
I mean, that in her day, she was as popular as Dr. Ruth, right?
Yeah.
So, and in there, the psychology she had is that women have the ability to ultimately forgive. Doesn't mean they forget, but forgive. Men, on the other hand, they might say they forgive, but there's something with our ego that just trips us up. If we get cheated on, we can just never let that go. And it's just, so her point is if you cheat on your husband, women, unless you get cornered, you don't ever tell, because it'll just destroy him. It'll destroy. If you want to stay with him, you don't ever tell, because that will ruin the relationship. Okay?
Yep.
Men, on the other hand, they can confess and the relationship can still survive. The woman will stay with him. They have the ability to forgive. Doesn't necessarily mean the trust isn't forever shaken or what have you, but the relationship won't fall apart, won't necessarily end in divorce kind of thing. And so when I made that comment to her, she says, well, that's the truth. You know, it took 32 years, but eventually we divorced. You know, like he could never let that go. So I don't know what she said to you that night. She, at one point, said nothing ever happened. At another point, she basically said he won't let it go, which I took as something did happen. So, and then, of course, Russell, he's no dummy. When you told him about what we're leading up to with this time of your life and the experience that you had, he did the math. He's like, wait a second, is Jennifer really Dad's? You know, is she really our full sister kind of thing? And so, because that was the timing of it all, right?
Yep.
So, anyway, so what's your answer to that? I mean, this is nobody wants to hear it, but at the same time, people do want to know.
Well, you got to understand that it was right at this same sensitive time that we're talking about right now.
Mm-hmm.
That there was a night when I went out. I was out on call out in Kearns, and my grandfather.
I know we're leading up to that, but I want, and I don't mean to cut you off, especially because this is a very spiritual thing we're about to talk about.
Yep.
But Mom's situation, you guys have this knockdown, drag out. She lowers this bomb on you that she's had other relationships that, you know, the two of you aren't meeting each other's needs. You're like two ships passing in the wind.
Yep.
and I'm not trying to make excuses, I'm just explaining kind of what I consider the facts of the matter is somebody else, she's an attractive woman, there's other people wooing her.
Absolutely.
And she, lets her guard down or gives into it or whatever. My question to you is, what did she confess? I mean, how far did she say it really went? How clean did she come with you?
As far as I know, I think she came clean with me. I don't know that she had intercourse with either one of those two.
Okay, well, she maintained with me that she didn't, but there's still a fidelity issue there from an emotional standpoint, right?
Sure.
That she's being wined and dined and kissy face or whatever with these other people, and had.
Did she tell you that she arranged for us to go out and do things with these other couples?
Oh no! So she's having these office place infidelity type emotional situations, and then arranges for couples to go out to dinner, and so.
Yeah, I mean, the first time I ever met Gary was with his wife, and those two and us went out to a restaurant, and probably
dinner,
a pretty nice one.
Okay. No, but again, it's kind of the spy
did she tell you
versus
that when we
spy
lived in
intrigue.
San Mateo, that Gary came to town?
Oh, by then the jig was up, and so you probably didn't want to see him at all, did you?
I didn't know about it, but she told me about it.
Oh, so he came looking her up. It's not like he dropped by the house with a...
Yeah.
No.
In fact,
All right, so...
I've certainly had the inclination to send him his copy of her obituary. Of course, he's buried in her cemetery, in his cemetery.
Oh, so you're saying he owns that cemetery up there? Is that what you're saying?
His company does.
His family does?
Yeah.
Anyway, so your mom and you are having marital issues in addition to the business stuff going on right now. Mm-hmm. And that's where your state of mind is. So emotional, mental, etc. And so you turn to reading some of your grandfather's journals because
No. Never did do that. Never have.
Oh.
The only ones I've ever read are the ones I just talked to you about.
Okay.
I've heard about them, but
I just got the understanding that you were looking into his life because he went through similar things with business partners cheating him and ultimately doing prison time and getting excommunicated from the church and other such things.
Yeah.
So you were like looking to him like a kindred spirit of how did you make it through this?
I never remember having that thought, that he was a kindred spirit, until all of a sudden I'm out in Granger. I just finished a presentation. I put my kit on top of the car, got in the car, sat down, and getting ready to go home, started the car, and all of a sudden, here he is. And we had a session. And from that session, now I'm going to answer your other question. From that session, I was moved to go home and share it with your mother. I went home and shared it with your mother. And that particular night, I think, was probably the night that Jennifer was conceived.
Okay. So, not to glass over that experience too much, because I do have it in writing from what you shared with me when I was on my mission.
Yep.
But when you say an experience, you're talking about your departed grandfather appearing to you in the passenger seat of your truck.
Yep.
And what does he tell you? He tells you, you can't touch me.
Yep, can't do that.
Can't touch me.
No.
And you guys have conversations.
Yep, it was lengthy. I don't know. Your mother might have been able to tell you how late I came in that night. It was late, though, I know. I don't know how long I was there. But
so you lost track of time. But you asked him about some of his experiences, how'd he make it through it, and the main message you came away with was that God is real,
Okay, no question.
that your father, even though he was on the outsides of the church, had met with the Savior, your grandfather had met with the Savior, and that naturally he was forgiven, that there was some temple work for
him
that
hadn't been done.
That hadn't been done. Everybody thought somebody else had done it.
Yep.
And that I don't know, did your grandfather know what was going on with your marriage, or before you had the conversation with him? Like, he come in and say, hey, you need to go back and confront your wife on this?
No, he didn't tell me that at all.
Okay. But so was Exterior Builders pretty much, I mean, you were still in the throes of that, right? But
Oh yeah, but it was rolling. It was doing well.
so this was that experience is before the bowling alley guy
Absolutely.
brought you down.
Yep. That was very early in the Exterior Builders. That was just after in fact, it kind of went down when Ashpole was pulling his crap. It was during
That confrontation.
absolutely.
That things were weighing heavy on your mind, so you were just getting ready to break off and start Exterior Builders.
I think I had already, at that point, broken off. I'd already started Exterior Builders, and it was starting to get some momentum. Things were starting to go good, and then
He drags you into court.
well, yeah. Well, this is after the court. We got through that. I do believe we got through.
No, I'm sure you did, but I meant like you set your attaché or whatever on top of the truck and you sat down and you're just thinking for a minute, gathering your thoughts, trying to figure out. The stoplight's out right there, so.
I know it.
Anyway, so you're trying to gather your thoughts, and that's when he appears to you and he shares these messages. And in that message, you only had 2 children at the time.
Yep.
And you're told you're going to have 3 sons.
Yep.
Doesn't mention the daughters.
Nope.
Just mentions you're going to have 3 sons.
Yep.
So you've got 1, you need 2 more.
Yep.
So you go home, you share that with Mom, and you figure that might have been the time in which, okay, we're going to have 3 sons, time for another.
Yep.
So Jennifer's conceived thereabouts.
Yep. And that really threw both of us. Probably your mother more than me. I mean, she was really upset at the fact that Jennifer wasn't a boy.
And so
Because she thought that was going to be
the thing that
Yeah.
resolved all your issues.
yeah. But it didn't.
Because you went home that night and said, look, we've got to get this together. We're having marital issues.
Yeah.
And we either need to, I'm going to have 3 sons. It's either going to be 3 sons with you or it's going to be 3 sons with somebody else.
I never said that.
I know, but you basically said, we've got to get this together. And so when Jennifer comes, that throws her, and you're like, no, let's give it the Baldwin try. And that's the reason why
Nope.
Jennifer and Tracy are like
Yep.
almost less than a year apart. They're
Yep.
just a little over a year apart.
Yep.
And then another girl comes.
Yep.
Another trial of faith, huh?
It really was.
Because I don't know what the gap between Tracy and Richard is. I guess I could figure it out. Richard was born in 82. Is that
Yep.
right?
Yep.
And Tracy's 75, right?
Yep.
So that's a 7-year gap there.
Yep. Well, we thought we were done. In fact, prior to that, before any of that happened, we really thought we were done with 2 when we had 1 of each. We were happy. And things were starting to go together, and then Firestone ripped the rug out from under me. And things got really, really tough.
So Mom went back to work and because
Well,
we weren't with Firestone, so kids going to daycare.
Well, she went into a lot serious, more mode on work. Prior to that, she had been a personal secretary to Dr. Griffin out in Bountiful, and that was a fun job. And I mean, I'm the one that got her the scholarship at LDS Business College. I think that was just she was going nuts. So we were living in Bountiful, and she was sitting home all day long. She tried to go to work in the beauty salon business. Right. That didn't last 2 weeks.
Yeah, she didn't care for that as much as she thought.
No.
All right, so Jennifer, Tracy come along.
Yep.
And Exterior Builders is folded, right?
Yep. Yeah, we're in California now.
So now you end up deciding you're going to follow Roy out to California?
Well, it was kind of, I tried a couple of other things first.
Because you sold cars out here for a while, too. I remember something about a mink farmer that everybody else judged poorly and came in, and you didn't judge his appearance. You just helped him, and then you delivered the car out to him all the way out. Duchesne, you went that far out?
Yep.
And he hands you a big old bag of cash.
Yep.
Says, here you go.
Yep. I had a couple of those kind of guys that they were heaven sent.
Where was that? Where were you selling cars? Was that an Oldsmobile dealer here in?
No, that wasn't
Jeep dealer here in, because it was a Jeep you bought, right?
My very first job in the automobile business was at Lake Lincoln Mercury. In fact, that was on my trip list to show you. The building's still there. It's gone. 633 South Main in Salt Lake. Mm-hmm. Lake Lincoln Mercury, where I went and had my very first experience with trying to sell cars, and that was really a tough one. It's just absolute green. Needed a job, and
where did that fit in? Does that fit in between Firestone and Exterior Builders?
Before
Firestone.
Before Firestone.
Okay.
That was when I decided I needed more than just Slim Olson's. I needed to make bigger money. So I didn't stay at Slim's when I came out of the military for very long at all. But anyway, Lake Lincoln Mercury was a very small dealer there on Main Street, and the general manager was a guy by the name of Norm Garrett. Who comes back numerous times in my life.
Oh, yeah. In fact, Russell's middle name is after Norm Garrett.
Yep, that's right.